When an alien parasite, a fugitive journalist, and a horde of unkillable monsters collide, chaos, carnage, and unexpected heroics take center stage. The movie kicks off on Clintar, a planet crawling with symbiotes where their creator, Null, has been locked up like the universe's worst roommate. Turns out Null's been grounded for being a cosmic-level jerk, but he's got big plans. If he can get his hands on this thing called the Codex, he'll bust out and unleash mayhem across the galaxy. Naturally, he sends out his alien hench creatures, the xenophages, to find a rogue symbiote who's hoarding the Codex like it's the last slice of pizza. Meanwhile, on Earth 616, Eddie Brock and Venom are in Mexico, not fighting crime but nursing margaritas. Their tequila break gets cut short when Null's interdimensional portals pop open and yank them back to their home universe. Right there in front of the confused bartender, Venom tries to make a cocktail like it's happy hour before they realize Eddie's plastered all over the news as a fugitive. Turns out people think he killed Patrick Mulligan. San Francisco's out of the question, so Eddie decides to head back to New York. Sure, he's technically banned, but Eddie being Eddie, he's got dirt on the judge to grease his way back in. Classy. On the way, the duo stumbles into a secret dogfighting ring because, why not? They crash the party, and Eddie lets Venom go full vigilante mode. Venom tosses the thugs around like ragdolls, frees the dogs, and even gives the bad guys a gruesome snack break by eating their heads. Because that's Venom for you. Part anti-hero, part nightmare fuel. As they leave, they're blissfully unaware that a xenophage is tailing them like a creepy ex. Elsewhere, General Rex Strickland gets pulled into the Eddie-Venom drama by his mysterious boss. He stops by the bar where Eddie and Venom left behind a sample of their goo. Strickland interrogates the bartender and orders his men to haul him in because bartenders clearly know everything about alien goo monsters. Cut to Nevada, where Dr. Teddy Payne wakes up from a traumatic childhood flashback. Turns out she accidentally zapped her twin brother with lightning during a storm when they were kids. She gets summoned to Area 51, which is about to be decommissioned. Teddy meets her colleague Sadie, nicknamed Christmas because, sure, and Strickland, who's apparently running the show. They check in on Patrick Mulligan, who's hosting the symbiote known as Toxin. In the creepiest way possible, Toxin uses Mulligan to warn everyone about Null's impending galactic temper tantrum. So we've got Venom playing animal rights activist, government conspiracies, a lightning strike backstory, and a supervillain with universe-destroying ambitions. You can already tell this is going to be one of those chaotic, over-the-top adventures. Venom and Eddie kick off this stretch of chaos by literally hitching a ride on a plane headed to New York. Eddie's clinging to the outside of the aircraft like a very unlucky action hero, while Venom grumbles about turbulence. But of course, the xenophage shows up mid-flight to ruin their day. After some high-altitude wrestling, they manage to shove it into the turbine. Problem solved, right? Wrong. The xenophage regenerates on the ground because nothing stays dead in this universe. Venom forces Eddie to jump off the plane with a parachute, and they land in the middle of nowhere, bickering like an old married couple. This is where Venom drops some truth bombs. Apparently, Eddie's carrying something called the Codex. It's created when a symbiote saves its host from death, like when Venom revived Eddie after Riot impaled him. The Codex makes Eddie a walking, talking homing beacon for the xenophages. To stay off the radar, Venom hides inside Eddie for now. Their brilliant solution for faster travel? Possessing a random horse. Imagine a giant alien parasite playing cowboy. Meanwhile, General Strickland is tracking Eddie and Venom like he's auditioning for Most Aggressive Boss of the Year. His mercenaries corner the duo by a river, forcing Eddie to swim for his life. Eddie gets separated from Venom and has to fend off two mercs alone, even shooting one in self-defense, which leaves him feeling guilty. Venom catches up just in time to save Eddie from going over a waterfall, but the xenophage crashes the party, shredding Strickland's soldiers like confetti. Eddie and Venom use the chaos to escape, yet Strickland's still determined to handle things personally. Back at Area 51, Toxin drops a bombshell on Dr. Teddy and Sadie. Venom's Codex is basically a universal disaster waiting to happen. Teddy's skeptical, but Toxin's ominous warning hangs in the air. Eddie, meanwhile, stumbles across a hippie family, the Moons, who are the kind of folks that make kombucha at home and sing Space Oddity in the car. They feed Eddie, bond with him, and even give him a lift to Vegas, where they're headed to visit Area 51 before it's shut down. Venom gets all reflective about family life and reassures their son, Leaf, that scary aliens aren't real. Oh, the irony. Once in Vegas, Eddie tries to get into a casino but gets stopped for looking like, well, a bum. Venom takes care of it the subtle way by headbutting the bouncer unconscious and stealing a drunk guy's suit. Inside, they bump into Mrs. Chen, who welcomes them with open arms, even convincing Venom to dance. Bad move, though. The Xenophage uses the distraction to track them down. While it bails when Venom disappears, Strickland swoops in to separate Eddie and Venom and captures them both. The Moons finally roll up to Area 51, just in time for chaos to pop off. Meanwhile, Eddie wakes up in a cell, not exactly loving life. Strickland, who's taken a hard turn toward villain with a god complex, drags Eddie out, ready to execute him because either Eddie or Venom has to die to destroy the Codex. But just when it looks like game over, Venom, ever the drama queen, jumps from Sadie, who he'd been hiding with, back to Eddie, saving the day in a symbiotic reunion. Cue the Xenophage crashing the party, and things get messier than a middle school cafeteria food fight. Toxin, who's apparently had enough of this nonsense, holds the creature off so Venom and Eddie can run. But in true horror movie fashion, the Xenophage shreds Toxin like paper. Meanwhile, Teddy and Sadie free the other symbiotes, who latch onto the facility's scientists and transform into their full freaky forms. They team up to take on the Xenophage, but surprise, it regenerates faster than your phone after a factory reset. To make things worse, it's killing off symbiotes like it's swatting flies. The Xenophage escapes the facility, right in front of the Moons. Eddie races after them to save them from becoming alien snacks. As if that wasn't enough, the Xenophage calls in backup, summoning more of its kind. Sadie, now bonded with the symbiote Lasher, leads the charge to fight back, but it's an uphill battle. Eddie pulls off a hero moment, saving the Moons from falling off a tower. Meanwhile, Venom teams up with Strickland, who's finally decided to stop being the worst. Together, they lure the Xenophages into a kill zone. Strickland blows up a couple of them, while Venom goes full-action hero on a motorcycle, decapitating one. But just when it seems like they're winning, more Xenophages arrive, swarming them. Lasher gets taken out after separating from Sadie, and things go from bad to, we're definitely not getting our deposit back on this place. Eddie and Venom realize there's only one way to end this. And in a classic, it's been an honor moment, Venom wraps himself around the Xenophage and pushes Eddie to safety. Strickland, who's been playing fast and loose with grenades, activates a container of acid, drenching Venom and the monsters. As the acid sprays everywhere, Strickland detonates himself along with the facility, ensuring the Xenophages are destroyed for good. Venom, ever the martyr, tells Eddie bye for now before everything goes up in flames. With the Codex gone, Null gets sucked back into his prison, likely sulking about his ruined plans. Eddie wakes up in a hospital where a federal official lets him know his criminal record has been wiped clean. The catch? He has to keep his mouth shut about the alien carnage. Free at last, Eddie heads to New York. He makes a quiet trip to the Statue of Liberty, fulfilling Venom's wish, and sits there remembering his oddball tentacled best friend. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more. See you in the next one.